Greetings everyone, my name is Greg. In this video, I am going to be addressing some of the stupid bullshit that the guy calling himself the Dirty Christian has said. But before I get into that, I wanted to show you something that came. It goes along the lines, I ordered it at the same time as this, which doesn't really show up very well when I plug it in. It just glows and so forth, that it doesn't look as impressive as it had on Facebook. But when I ordered that, there was something else that was mentioned along with it, and I was like, this should be interesting. It is a spinner with alien heads. And I thought it was cute, and it is metal. It's quite solid. I mean, in that, it's far better constructed than the other thing. But this thing, I just thought it was cute, and it spins if you give it a little help. And then it just keeps doing that. It says stress relief, but I don't see where this would relieve any stress. It's a cute little thing that will be in my office with the other things that I've come across, like my skulls and so forth. But I wanted to show you guys that. Now let's get on to this shit. First, I'm going to play this video and respond to what he's saying. And then I'm going to show you his introduction video and why both are very short, so this won't take long. But you'll see why I'm including his introduction video when I get to that.
Alright guys, so I'll be the first person to admit that I don't know a lot about a ton of stuff. And so I'm going to say this straight up, that I don't know a lot about atheism. But I have some questions for atheists that I'm trying to understand myself. It appears to me that most atheists are Western influenced, typically white, and typically male. Now there are some female atheists out there, and they typically subscribe to very militant feminism. So my question is, and this is just from...
First of all, before he even gets to a question, his claim is bullshit. The idea that female atheists would subscribe to militant type of anything, that is a overgeneralization, if not downright inaccurate. I would like to see whatever evidence he would have for such a claim. Secondly, to try and act like atheists are mostly male and so forth, or white males, while there are some that are, to try and say that it is a majority, I don't know. I haven't seen enough data on it to be able to say one way or the other. I've seen and encountered quite a few that are black males that are atheists. One that I've come across on YouTube, and he does good videos, is Emperor Atheist. And it's one, I give a bit of a shout out to him because he does some very good videos, and it's something that I would recommend people check out. I'll have a link in here for his channel. But the idea that atheism is a white male type of thing is bullshit. Because my ex, who was a black woman, she was also an atheist. And that is where, to give a bit of background with that, and with her and me, when I started having what was termed the missing time and weird marks on me, it became something she couldn't deal with. The fact that, because at the time I didn't know what was going on, I attributed it to aliens and so forth. I have no explanation. And neither did she, because there was one point she came over to my apartment and I had just woke up and I was sitting at my computer and she was sitting on my bed behind me, and she noticed and said the back of my neck was bleeding. She went in my bathroom, got a washcloth, was wiping the back of my neck, and she said, "You have blood coming out of your neck. There's no hole, there's no cut, but you are bleeding." And she was a bit freaked out. And then, I don't know if my shirt was off or if she asked me to take it off. When I did, I had a scratch going straight across my shoulder blades. Not multiple like you would with a woman. I've had that happen multiple times, but it was a single line. And on my arm, I had two scratches about an inch apart and maybe an inch and a half long. And she had asked me what I had been into, and I said, "I don't remember. I just woke up." And it freaked her out. That was more, it was a weirdness that she couldn't deal with. It was something when I first got together with the girlfriend I have now, for the first year, that shit was common. She had found different marks on me for the first year, and then basically after she didn't go away type of thing, those subsided. I don't know what the reason was. I don't understand it. But the idea that atheism and atheists are just white males is a stereotype that is bullshit. But I included that just because the girlfriend, Princess, the fact that those things were going on, it didn't fit within anything she could explain or me. And I had no explanation for it. So I can understand her saying this is a level of weirdness that I can't abide. The thing is, and it almost seemed like when I first got together with the girlfriend I have now, that whatever was basically testing her to see, are you going to stay, or are you going to run away like the others? I don't know. I don't have an explanation as to why it happened and then why it stopped. I don't know. But to continue with his bullshit.
From stuff that I've watched, because again, I don't have an interest in trying to disprove atheism or anything like that. I literally I don't understand.
Saying he has no interest in trying to disprove atheism shows me he doesn't understand what atheism is. Because the only way to use the term disprove atheism is to give evidence for your God. Prove your God exists. Because all atheism is simply, I don't believe your claims. I don't believe you. That is it. It is not making any declarations about does a God exist or not. It is saying, I don't believe it, or I don't believe your claims. However, to continue.
And why is it that most atheists debate and try to tear down Christianity? I don't see a lot of atheists debating Buddhists or Muslims or Jews. It's mostly the Christians that they debate against.
The reason for that, let me just jump in here. The thing is, you won't hear Christians or atheists debating Buddhists because, for the most part, atheism and Buddhism are very close. Buddhists don't claim Buddha was never a god, and never a deity of that nature. I've studied Buddhism, I've looked into Buddhism. I've met people that are Buddhists, and the people that I've met that are Buddhists were basically on the same page regarding the God question. Buddha had said he wasn't a god. Buddha simply means an enlightened one. The idea that, and the Buddha had also, Siddhartha Gautama, had said, don't believe something because it's written in a book or because it's said many times. But when you find something that's true for you, then live by it. I have no problem with that. The thing is, the Buddha, to use that term, had talked against the idea of just going along with something because it's part of what a group says. So you won't find atheists and Buddhists debating because there's nothing really to debate. As far as Muslims, there are atheists that debate Muslims relatively frequently, not near as often as Christians, because for the most part, Christians are the more squeaky wheel. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. So in that regard, it is a matter of they're the ones that are a pain in the ass in the United States. There are some Muslims. I used to work with one guy that was Muslim. It very rarely comes up. At least those that I've met in my real life, they don't really talk about it. They don't really push Allah and so forth. Not near like Christians do with their stupid Jesus, which is a golden calf, just to put it out there bluntly. That's what it is. However, to continue.
And why, if you don't believe that God exists, why do you have to spend so much time convincing others of the same thing? Like, unless you want to know why I love Jesus and why I think that Jesus is real, I'm not going to spend my time convincing you of that. And again, that's why I don't really know a lot about atheism, because I don't have enough time to focus on my belief in Jesus Christ to focus on your non-belief in a God. It seems counterproductive for me. It seems more like it should be live and let live. If your pursuit is intelligence, that's great. My pursuit is intelligence also.
The thing is, let me pause that before he gets into anything else. Why to address the issue of Jesus? There is a multitude of reasons, not the least of which is one name, Matthew Shepard. That is a prime example of why this has to be addressed, why Christianity has to be debunked, why Christianity is a virus. But it's not just the issue of what Christians did to Matthew Shepard. It is what Christians do constantly with their trying to threaten people with this eternal torture bullshit if you don't believe as them. That is nothing short of a carrot and stick mindset. There was one person that had commented, and I want to give credit to this person because they really nailed it in the aspect of why atheists oppose Christianity. And just to summarize this real quick, he had the first line in it, by just changing the word Christianity to Santa Claus, we can quickly realize why many atheists fight it so strongly. And he goes on to point out about if the majority of your peers, lawmakers, leaders, and others would attribute their entire life and their morality to Santa Claus, with presidential candidates requesting that we only allow refugees into the country who believe in Santa Claus, and say we need to be a Santa worshiping nation, to watch as different denominations argue over which color robes he wore, what moral teachings he gave his elves, and then to discriminate against gays, and he says colors, or black people, or other naughty people, just because Santa taught it in his book, arguing that elf chanting in school should be allowed, and that we should teach Santa's sleigh magic physics in science class, while the country's constitution states it should not be made, that it should not make any laws respecting any particular religious belief or lack thereof over another. Would you be happy to sit back and watch all that happen? He makes a very valid point. The thing is, these Christians, they want to try, and this dirty Christian tries to shift it to the aspect of basically morality. If there were no God, would you still take we would still take some semblance of belief or beliefs to develop laws or rules? No, we wouldn't. Absolutely, we would not. Laws in the United States are not based on the Ten Commandments. They are based on us socially agreeing that some things are right and some things are wrong. It is a social contract that we have made with each other. It is something that is necessary for every society to do. The idea where this dirty Christian says, I'm not even saying belief in a deity, but where do you draw the line without one? What if the things I think are good, you think are bad? Who decides who is right? Ethics. Empathy. That is where the deciding factor comes in. If you cannot empathize with somebody else, you are, by definition, a sociopath. If you do not have the ability to empathize with someone else, i.e., I don't want punched in the face, so I'm not going to do that to you. If you think it's good, dirty Christian, to go around punching people in the face because you like to be punched in the face, you're a fucking jackass. You're a fucking jackass that shouldn't have the right to have your views mean anything, because you're fucked in the head. By the same token, if you're one that likes having hot pokers shoved up your ass or set on fire because of whatever reason, the aspect of like burning someone at the stake, if you think it's good to do that, if you think it's good to engage in the thought crime, you're a fucking jackass. That you lack the intellect necessary and the empathy to realize that these things are harmful. You don't need a spook in the sky to tell you these things are wrong. If you do, you're too fucked up to begin with. It doesn't, your stupid beliefs don't mean shit. Your stupid Jesus was a failure. If you want to act like you love Jesus so fucking much, fine. Then do what your goddamn Jesus had said you shall do if you believe in him. And I really want to hammer on this. This was your fucking Jesus, dirty Christian. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do, he shall do also. So, dirty Christian, where are the blind, deaf, and paralyzed that you have healed? I'll put aside raising the dead. I'll put aside the walking on water and turning water into wine. Just make a fucking YouTube video of you healing the blind, healing the deaf, healing the paralyzed. Let's see you do it. Or Was your Jesus a fucking liar? Don't play games. Don't try acting like your Jesus was something great when the truth of the matter is, what you believe doesn't mean shit. It doesn't change what you do. It can't. This idea of forgiveness and salvation, just because you mouth words of belief in a Jesus, it does not negate what you have done. Your actions have consequences. Those consequences cannot be sidestepped by you saying you think something. So fucking what you think something? You still have to be accountable for what you did. The raped woman remains raped. The molested child remains molested. The murdered person remains dead. Why the hell should the person that did the harm get off or get a pass just because they say they believe something? That is offensive. And to try and act like this was the plan of the God. I'm not a fan of the God of the Bible. But let me just make it abundantly fucking clear. That is a goddamn lie. It is made very fucking clear in Psalms 49 verse 7. None of them can by any means redeem his brother, nor give God a ransom for him. As well as Ezekiel 18 verses 20 and 21. Christians love Ezekiel 18:20. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. But they stop there. The son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, neither shall the father bear the iniquity of the son. The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him. Next verse. But if the wicked will turn from all his sins that he hath committed, and keep my statutes, and do what is lawful and right, he shall surely live, he shall not die. No mention of a Jesus. No mention of all you have to do is think something. You have to change your motherfucking behavior. You have to obey the law, be it the law of a God or the law of the land. You have to change your behavior. You have to do what is right. You cannot get away with, I think something, so I get a pass, so I'm forgiven. Fuck that. But it gets worse with this Drew.
I very much believe in science. I very much believe in a lot of things that you believe too. Except for I believe that there is a God and you believe that there isn't. So I just want to understand why, if you are so adamant about a God's non-existence, why do you spend so much time convincing other people of his non-existence as well?
The reason is the harm that is caused by these delusional thoughts and this scapegoat mindset. Also, Jesus was never a God. That, to use the Bible terms, is nothing short of blasphemy. However, let's go back to... Oh, shit. Okay. It's...
All right,
just
guys.
go
so,
straight to...
I'll be the first... Hey, what's up, everybody?
This.
I'm Drew, and I'm the Dirty Christian. I wanted to talk to you guys about something and let you in on a little secret. Here's the deal. I'm wrong about a lot of stuff. Like, really wrong. There are probably things that I say that are just way out in left field that don't make any sense. So here's the deal. As I'm learning in my relationship with Jesus, I share stuff with you guys. Things that I'm passionate about, things that I'm discovering, things that are exciting to me, but some of those things are wrong. In my 15 years of being a Christian, I've changed my mind about a lot of things. So here is where it's your responsibility. You have to do research on your own. You can't take my word for it. You shouldn't even take your pastor's word for it. You should take everything with a grain of salt and then go and research and learn on your own. Grab yourself a Bible or a concordance. or some sort of commentary. There's this great thing on the internet called Google. You can actually get other people's opinions on very hard-hitting topics that are biblical in nature, that use scripture. See, I'm arrogant. I struggle. I'm coming out of a pornography addiction.
Now we're getting into his, what I call utter bullshit. The idea of a pornography addiction. Oh, please. Oh, fucking please. The idea that there is something wrong with the female body or that there is something wrong with sex. It is Christian bullshit. Now, to be fair with this, if you are with somebody that is, what I would say is afraid of or insecure about a two-dimensional object, a two-dimensional image, like the calendar behind me. If somebody has the attitude of that they're threatened by a two-dimensional image, be it in a magazine, calendar, or in a movie, be it a porn movie or whatnot, they have issues. But by the same token, if you're going to be with them, you should basically respect those issues and help them work through it. You shouldn't do things that will intentionally basically provoke them. However, this idea of a pornography addiction, it's bullshit. Sex is a natural part of life. If anything, I think studies have shown that porn sites are clicked on and checked out a lot more in religious states than in non-religious. That's not to say that atheists or non-Christians aren't interested in sex. They are. It's just, it seems that the hypocrisy with Christians regarding porn is quite rampant. That they'll mouth one thing in public and something else in private. But it gets worse with what he's going to.
Coming out of a nicotine addiction, but I love Jesus, and so I'm wrong about a lot of stuff. In the end, I'm a terrible person, but it's Christ that is in me that makes me be precious in the eyes of our Father, our God. Don't take
this, I'm a terrible person. If you're a terrible person, then why should I listen to you at all? If you're so terrible, why should your views on a goddamn thing matter? By your own admission, by your own t-shirt, you're a terrible person. The idea that a God is loving you or whatnot is obnoxiously stupid when, according to your own Bible, that God that you speak of was very, very pissed at people that would put someone else, another God, above them, which is exactly what you're trying to do with Jesus. You're trying to put your Jesus above this God. If you really believe in the God of this bullshit, why the hell would you want to put your golden calf Jesus over this God and act like that's going to be wonderful to this God? Isaiah 42 verse 8, I am the Lord, that is my name. My glory will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. Christians, you have nothing. That is not your Jesus. That right there is clearly making it right out there that this God is not going to give his glory to another. So your idea of Jesus being anything would be a slap in the face to this fucking God. If you believe in a God, if you really believe in a God, why the fuck would you openly do something that is slapping it in the face? At least atheists like me could look at this God and say, I saw no evidence to believe you existed. There was nothing. Whereas you, the Christian, you want to act like you know this God exists. And yet, despite the fact that you know this God exists, you blatantly put a human fucking being as a God over this God of the Bible. And this terrible person thing, I heard that growing up, and it irked the shit out of me because my mom was verbally abusive with me. And it's one that is verbal abuse. That is a Stockholm syndrome type of situation. But to finish out his...
Take my word for it. I'm a human being. Don't follow after me. I just want to inspire people to learn for themselves, to study for themselves, to experience God for themselves in a way that they've never experienced it before. Because that's what I'm trying to do. And that's how I'm trying to figure out life. And that's how I'm trying to walk with Jesus. Drew is imperfect. Jesus is perfect.
Bullshit. Jesus fucked up. Jesus sinned. The God made it clear. You are not to drink blood. Period. And Jesus had said about, my body is meat and my blood is drink indeed. For those that are wondering, John chapter 6. Round John 6:44. No man can come to me except the Father hath sent me. Draw him, and I will raise him up at the last day. Bullshit. That is a meaningless claim. The verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me hath everlasting life. That is a claim he cannot fulfill. An empty promise. But in verse 52, the Jews were saying, how can he give us his flesh to eat? Because there's a very clear statement made in Leviticus regarding this type of shit, where Jesus said, verily, verily, I say unto you, except you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. Now, Leviticus 17:10, Christians will say, is showing that you have to have blood in order to have forgiveness. This is not talking about forgiveness in here. The subject is, or actually they go at verse 11, for the life of the flesh is in the blood, but the subject starts 10 to 14 because it is the dietary laws of Judaism. That is, in a nutshell, anyone that drinks blood, be it an Israelite or someone, a stranger that is with you, if they drink blood, you are to cut them off. In verse 14, for the life of the flesh is in the blood thereof, it is the life thereof. Therefore I say unto the children of Israel, you shall eat no manner of blood, no manner of flesh, For the life of all flesh is in the blood thereof. Whosoever eateth it shall be cut off. Jesus would have been cut off from the Jews just by what he was saying in John chapter 6, verse 52. His statement, or 53 better, right here, this, according to Leviticus, would have gotten him cut off. It was a sin. It was against the dietary laws. There are 613 laws that Jews have to follow. Not just the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments are the tip of the fucking iceberg. Jesus was not perfect. Jesus fucked up on multiple occasions. The idea that you are to follow after a golden calf. Jesus is no different from when Moses went up to the Mount Sinai to get the 10 Commandments, came down and saw that the people he was leading in the wilderness had made a golden calf. That is what you have done with Jesus. You have made Jesus your golden calf, and you are worshiping your golden calf. Let's be clear, dirty Christian. All Christians, you better hope atheists like me are right, that there really isn't a God. Because if the God of this shit would exist, it's not your Jesus. It is the God of the Old Testament, the God of the Jews. And that's the son of a bitch you would have to answer to. And your idea of, you believed on Jesus. So what? It doesn't mean a goddamn thing. The thing is, I really find it annoying that people like that want to try and do this, I'm a terrible person, and all that happy shit. That is verbal abuse. That is nothing short of trying to, and worse is when they say that shit to a child. Because that tears at the child's self-esteem. To be, you're a horrible, worthless, wretched sinner that deserves to go to hell. You deserve to be tortured. Really? If you fucking believe that, you're fucking sick. The idea, if there is anything that your child could do that you would look at him and go, oh, now I gotta torture you. You're an evil bastard. It does not matter what you believe, what faith you have. If there is anything your child could do that you would look at him and say, now you have to be tortured, you are one sick motherfucker. And yes, I have to very passionately stand against people like you. Not because I believe that God exists, but because your actions, what you are advocating, is flat out wrong. It is harmful. It is negative. As I've said before, and I'll say it again because stupid people like you, dirty Christian, need to get this through your thick fucking skull. Torture teaches nothing. Torture changes nothing. Torture proves nothing. Except, maybe, that the one doing the torture is as sick and evil as those they are torturing. Even if a Hitler did exist, even if a God would exist, to torture someone like Hitler, or Pol Pot, or Kim Jong-un, or any of the tyrants in human history, all you're showing someone like me is you're no better than them. You're no different from them. Why should I respect you when I didn't respect people like that? When their actions disgusted me, I don't support it. I don't endorse it. I would oppose it as vehemently as I oppose Christianity or the God concept. Why the hell would I turn around and support it from some cosmic overlord? No. That is not a matter of having morals or standing up for what is right. That is only looking out for your own sorry, self-centered ass. You don't care what happens to others so long as your sorry, self-centered ass is safe. That's what it really comes down to. That's why someone like me gets as passionate about this as I do. Because I care about more than just myself. Feel free to leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. Later, people.